Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Once in a while, I get a story from everyone. Or maybe just all my subscribers. I don't know. I can't thank everyone who sent it to me because we simply haven't got that kind of time. I'm betting I got 100 copies of this, and thank you for every one of those, by the way. I'm going to go with a story from Fortune magazine because it involves money. Georgia man gets final paycheck in the form of 91,000 oil-covered pennies. So we've discussed this before. You know, if you walk into a store, do they have to take cash, for instance? And what do you do if when you walk into a store with, a wheelbarrow filled with pennies, do they have to take that? And what if you walked into a store, and you wanted to buy something for $100,000 and you had it in $1 bills? Would they have to take that? So these are all questions that are always fun to discuss, and some of them have hazy answers. But Chris Morris wrote the story for Fortune. And quitting a job, he says, sometimes results in bad blood. But the corporate breakup of a Georgia man in a car repair shop has taken things to a new levels. So this is happening in Georgia, and a man quit his job working at a car repair shop. And the man and his former employer parted ways, and he said he complained because he was owed $915. So he says that his former employer came by and dumped 91,500 pennies in his driveway after he left his job as a manager at a store in Peachtree City, Georgia. The coins, he said, were also covered in an oily substance he suspects was power steering fluid. Now, how he knows that it's power steering fluid versus transmission fluid, well, the guy's a mechanic, I'm guessing, because that's the kind of business this was. So he works a car repair shop. He's got 91,500 pennies, or so he thinks. I don't know if he actually counted them all. But they're covered in some kind of substance that he thinks might be power steering. Now, he says he found the money in his driveway on March 12th, and that's what he told the New York Times. He believes the action was taken as punishment after he quit his job and demanded the company pay him his final paycheck. Now, the owner of the repair shop told a TV station, "I don't know if I did that or not. I don't really remember. It doesn't matter. He got paid. That's all that matters. He's a blanking weenie for even bringing this up." So this guy sounds charming. How to make friends and influence people. But the guy who quit said he quit the job because of the broken promises over when he could leave each day to pick up his child from daycare. He gave notice that he planned to quit late last year, but left earlier after further agreements at the job when he did not receive his final paycheck. He filed a claim at the U.S. Department of Labor, which reached out to the repair shop 3 times, which may have been what escalated this. The man says the pennies were delivered by someone who believes to be a current employee of the shop around 7 o'clock on March 12th. The load weighed more than 500 pounds, came with a short obscenity written note, and again, how charming. Labor Department officials tell New York Times that while unusual, there's nothing illegal about paying someone in pennies. They throw in there as kind of a, optimistic view, with a little luck that the last laugh could be the former employees. 2 years ago, an ultra-rare penny was found and sold for $204,000 at auction. Both the odds of there being an ultra-rare penny in the pile of oil-covered pennies in the end of the driveway are pretty slim. Pretty slim. I doubt that's going to happen. Now, here's the thing. Paying me in pennies might be illegal. Paying me in oil-covered pennies might not be. And what I'm getting at here is the guy at the Department of Labor says, look, you owe them money. You pay them money. You're done. And that would make sense until you get to the oil-covered pennies. So let me give you an example that might illustrate this a little better, because you cannot probably take those pennies and dump them into a Coinstar. Number one, you have to pay a percentage, possibly. Or number two, it might gum up the Coinstar, and you might get in trouble for doing that. If you bring the pennies into your bank and they say, I want to deposit these, and if they've got a coin counter, they might say, well, we would accept for the fact that these things have got power steering fluid on them, and we don't want to gum up our coin counter. So in a way, the pennies have been, I hate to say, damaged, because it's not permanent damage, but something's been done to them to hinder their ability to be used as pennies. So let me give you an example. Like I said I would a second ago, we've all seen those blocks of lucite that you can put, like, somebody has a dollar bill and a block of lucite as a paperweight on their desk, right? It's clear. You can see it, pick it up. It's a dollar bill. I hope you've seen what I'm talking about. So if I owed you $900, I could take 9 $100 bills, stack them, put them in a tray, pour a lucite over them, and give you a block of lucite, like a paperweight. There you go, $900. And you look at it and go, how am I going to get the bills out? I don't know. It's not my problem. That's what you get for quitting. Call the Department of Labor. They say as long as you're paid, you're paid. And there's a problem. Because if you wanted to get those bills out of the block of lucite, I'm not sure enough about how lucite works mechanically or chemically, but I suspect that as you try to bust it open to get those bills out, the bills might get damaged. And then the question is, are the bills still usable? And did it cost you any money to get the bills out? So let's suppose you took the 91,500 oil-covered pennies someplace and said, I want you to analyze them, what's on them, because I'm scared of touching them, because what if it's not power steering fluid? What if it's something else? So you take them someplace and somebody goes, we're not sure what this stuff is. It's some kind of petroleum distillate and you probably don't want to get it on your hands. And you say, fine, what'll it cost me to clean these pennies? Somebody might say, take them to some kind of industrial cleaning place and they can clean those pennies for you. And you can wash them in some kind of solvent that will get the stuff off and clean them in an environmentally sound fashion. It's not going to be free, so let's suppose you do that. And it cost you $100 to clean those pennies. Did you just get paid $915? And so I'm purposely doing this, and I understand this is a intellectual exercise, right? It's hypothetical. If I was a judgy judge, and again, I don't want to be a judge, never will be a judge, but if I was a judge and I'm up on the bench and I'm wearing my robe and I'm not wearing the thing on my head because this isn't England or Canada, but I'm the judge, parties come before me, I know you've been sworn, tell me your story. And the guy goes, he owed me $915. He came and dumped 1,500 oil-covered pennies on my driveway. And I realized they're coated in something. I got witnesses, I could prove it. I took all of them to an industrial place and said, what is this on these pennies? And they said it was some kind of petroleum byproduct or something, automotive, we don't know. It may have been power steering fluid, but I couldn't take them to the bank. In the condition, for obvious reasons, I had to have them cleaned. So cleaning them cost me $100. Therefore, I say that man owes me $100. And oh, by the way, he called me an effing weenie, and he left a note that was obscene with the coins. You might say, Steve, why would you want to hear that? Oh, because it shows characters of the parties. So then I say to the man, did you pay that money to him? And if he sticks to his original story, I don't know if I did that or not. I don't really remember. I'd say, oh, you didn't pay him because either you did or you didn't. And if you're in my courtroom and you're going to admit you didn't pay him, I'm going to order you to pay him $915 and we'll assume that somebody else dumped those pennies in the driveway. The guy's going to go, okay, I paid him, okay? You paid him. So you paid him with pennies that were coated in something. What was it? Now, if he says I didn't coat them in anything, I'm going to say also, did a stranger come by and dump something on them? And he says, yeah, I think that's what happened, okay? Do you understand that by dumping a wheelbarrow full of pennies in someone's driveway without making arrangements first, that something might happen? Whose fault is that? And if they say, well, it's not my fault, I said, yes, it is. You're the one who dumped the pennies in the driveway and didn't give them a heads up. So somebody brings the pennies over, presumably some kind of a vehicle, instead of dumping them on the ground. They could have dumped them in this guy's wheelbarrow, for instance, right? I'd say, okay, so how much it costs to clean the pennies up? $100. You pay $100, and that would be reasonable. So getting back to my example of the $900 bills stuck in the block of lucite, and you walk into court and you go, Your Honor, the guy owes me $900 and he gave me this block of lucite that's got bills inside of it. I can't get them out without damaging the bills, or I can't get them out, but it's going to cost so much and damage the bills that it's just going to, I'd say, how about this? You give him back the block of lucite, you pay him $900, I don't want to see courts clogged up with stupid lawsuits like that. And I suspect what's going to happen here is the guy's going to clean the pennies as best he can, take them someplace, they'll count them for him, and go that route. And, he's got something for his troubles. They owed him money, and he appears to have gotten money. It's pain, but it also shows you what kind of person he's dealing with. And the one thing I'll tell you, and this is what I'd tell you if you were sitting in my office, if this man was sitting in my office right now and I just told you the exact same thing I just told you, I'd also say to him, by the way, you understand you just dodged a bullet. Okay, you just got out of there. You should have left earlier. Look at the person you're dealing with. So at this point, it devolves into relationship advice. We've all met the people who stayed in a relationship too long, okay? It's like, sir, you were in an abusive relationship, okay? It's good that you got out. And be happy you got your money. And this is everything the guy did kosher? Probably not. Should you go to court and assume for it? Assuming you get most of your money out of this and the cleanup's not difficult, something, move on. If nothing else, you got a great story. You could tell your kids, hey, I got a great story to tell my viewers. So there you go. But again, thanks everyone who sent it. Fortune magazine published this one. Chris Morris, Georgia man, gets final paycheck in the form of 91,500 pennies covered in powered steering fluid, he thinks. So there you go. Questions or comments, put them below. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law, and welcome to April.